Hey guys, what is going on? Matt O'Leary back with another video leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft. New things are starting to come out, and someone that was talked about a whole lot for the New York Jets might just be back in play. We're going to get into all of that in this video. Let's be real. Most guys would wear a t-shirt every day of their lives if they could. The problem is that most t-shirts are not acceptable to wear at work or out on a hot date night. Well, today's sponsor, Cuts, has finally changed that. Cuts t-shirts are such high quality, wrinkle-free, and so buttery soft that you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. Yeah, you heard that right, wrinkle-free. You never have to substitute comfort for fashion ever again. I'm rocking the Cuts t-shirt today. It's very comfortable, very form-fitting. The best part of it all, Cuts clothing is built to last. Their durable construction means you'll be enjoying your favorite shirts and pants for years to come, making them a smart investment for your wardrobe. For a limited time, our listeners are getting 20% off your entire order when you use code O'Leary at checkout. That's 20% off your order at cutsclothing.com with promo code O'Leary. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts clothing. So old friend of the show, Taliese Fuaga, is back in the mix for the New York Jets. He was one of the most chalky mock draft options for the New York Jets in February, and then unfortunately, or fortunate or unfortunate, however you want to look at it, that has begun to change when the Jets in free agency go out and sign Tyron Smith, and then they also trade for Morgan Moses, add John Simpson, and the list goes on and on from there. And suddenly, Taliese Fuaga is a name that really hasn't been talked about a whole lot. Well, Connor Rogers of Badlands and SNY is a draft expert, someone whose opinion I trust and value. He thinks that Taliese Fuaga is actually going to be the pick for the New York Jets, and he explains why it makes sense for New York.
Look, it would not be it's not going to have everyone partying up at Reds when it happens, but the real-time reaction will be, this makes sense on a lot of levels.
People should be happy. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, do I have to tweet out all 22 of him destroying people?
You will.
And
You're going to have to do the film room right after.
He's not overweight. Like, people are going to be like, oh, he's another big tackle. Like, he carries the cleanest 340 you'll ever see. This is one where I feel like I'm going to have to. I can't believe it.
I think you might move some betting lines with this draft. And I think we're at this point now where it's going to catch some eyes. And look, we'll get to my predictions in the pod. We're also going to save some of the Zach chatter for the pod. But this is a very wide open situation, man. There's a lot of things.
Were you surprised by me saying that? I feel like you were a little surprised.
I was surprised. Yeah, I would have thought if you were going offensive line, you would have went for Tanu.
Who I love.
Now, I love Taliese Fuaga as a prospect. He's someone that I liked dating back into February. He's just a name that kind of cooled off in the prospect pool, not because his evaluation changed, but because the Jets did some things on their offensive line to make you think that, all right, maybe Fuaga is no longer going to be the pick. And if they were to go on the offensive line, Troy Fautanu was a name that was coming up more because he has the position flexibility at tackle or guard and left and right side of the line, where Taliese Fuaga is a right tackle. Can he play right guard? Yes, but probably going to stick on the right side of the offensive line. And that bothers some people. It doesn't bother me because I think he's someone who can be a high-end right tackle in this league. He's 6'6", 324 pounds, and extremely athletic. He had a 9.63 RAS score, which we know Joe Douglas normally likes to take guys who have incredibly high RAS scores, and both he and Robert Saleh preach athleticism on their team, and Taliese Fuaga absolutely fits that bill. Now, what else that Joe Douglas really likes, specifically on the offensive line, he likes athletic offensive linemen, number one. He likes maulers in the run game, and he likes guys who can move well in space. Taliese Fuaga hits all three of those things, and it made sense, 2 months ago, when he was a very popular name and that the Jets loved him and Joe Douglas loved him, it made sense because if you look at every single offensive lineman Joe Douglas targeted this offseason, you can say a lot of the same things about those guys. They're nasty in the run game. They move well. They're athletic. That's Taliese Fuaga. And I get it. Like, there's, on paper, the Jets' offensive line is filled out. All 5 positions are filled, but they could really change things up and go with Tyron Smith at left tackle, move AVT back to the position he was originally drafted at in left guard, Joe Tippmann at center, Fuaga right guard, and then Moses at right tackle in year 1. And then after year 1, Fuaga goes back outside and plays tackle. There's been many, many times throughout the NFL draft process where offensive tackles get drafted. They play inside in year 1 and then move outside after a year or so. Heck, a really good example of someone who started on the right side of the line, eventually moving over to the left side, is Tristan Wirfs. So you have the ability to get flexible, and then John Simpson's your first interior guy off the bench, and then you have Carter Warren, and potentially you could still add someone in free agency like David Bakhtiari for your depth at tackle beyond that. There's really a lot of ways that you could play with the offensive line combinations by adding someone like Taliese Fuaga or any offensive lineman. And, you know, I like the idea of adding an offensive lineman. I think it's, you know, when the Jets have such a horrific offensive line and then they spend a lot and a lot of them are Band-Aid fixes, that you can continue to add. And it's okay to use a really, really, really good offensive tackle class to fill out needs in both the short term and long term, because Williams and I keep saying Williams. It's Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses are not on the team after this season. So it's okay to bring guys in who can help you now immediately with depth, which that's what this roster needs. They're top heavy. They could use some more depth, and then kind of go from there. Is it the most likely? I don't know. I don't think so. Like, Brock Bowers is the odds, the favorite in the odds race for who's going to be the pick at pick number 10. I think Rome Odunze is also someone who is going to be, very, very high up on a lot of people's choices for the New York Jets. I think if I was guessing and or predicting today, as of still Wednesday, I don't think it's going to be offensive line. I do think it's going to be weapon. I think Odunze is my pick, with Brock Bowers being the second most likely guy for who the New York Jets are going to land. But to just completely rule out that any thought of offensive line, or to rule out that the Jets can't go back to someone that they really, really liked a couple months ago when nothing about the evaluation has changed in the last 2 months, like that's the silliness, which we don't need to do. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on Taliese Fuaga. Are you good if the Jets take him? Do you not want him? Do you want weapons? Let me know whatever you're thinking about the NFL draft down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you guys next time.